New details have emerged for Mafia The Old Country thanks to the recent ESRB rating. For those who don't know, the Entertainment Software Rating Board has been assigning age and content ratings since 1994. The ESRB has officially rated Mafia The Old Country M for mature, ages 17 and above, for blood and gore, intense violence, strong language, suggestive themes, use of alcohol, and in-game purchases. Along it, they have given a reason for their rating after playing the game. Here's what their rating summary says. This is an action-adventure game in which players follow the story of Enzo Favara's ascension through a mafia family in 1905 Sicily. Players engage in various criminal activities, extortion, theft, murder, at the behest of the mafia. Some missions can involve using knives, pistols, rifles, shotguns, and explosives to kill enemy rivals and bandits. Combat is accompanied by realistic gunfire and cries of pain. Blood splatter effects occur as enemies are killed. Blood pools are depicted under bodies. Players can also employ stealth takedowns, throat slitting, stabbing from behind, to kill enemies discreetly. A handful of story sequences require players to execute characters at close range in order to progress. Cutscenes also depict intense acts of violence and/or gore, characters shot in the head, a man's throat slit at close range, a bound man in a chair beaten to death, a character's fingers sliced off. The game contains some suggestive material: women escorting men inside a brothel, a man tied to a bed by two women inside the brothel, dialogue such as, "I found them still in the whorehouse an hour ago," and "Give me more vino and all the lovely boobies." During the course of the game, player's character can consume alcohol and drive while under the influence. The word fuck is heard in the game. Wow. We just got a boatload of new details of Mafia The Old Country from this ESRB rating. For starters, we now know the specific year the game takes place in, which is 1905 in Sicily. And the second thing we now know is we will in fact be able to extort people for money, which is going to be so fun. In the story trailer, we saw Enzo and his buddy about to throw an old man down a well, trying to scare him into paying his dues to Don Torrisi. It seems this will actually be a gameplay feature. The ESRB rating also mentions the usual theft and murder missions will also be present. Theft could involve horses, cars, and cargo. In gameplay trailer teaser number 4, we can see Enzo jump from a moving train into a bandit's pickup truck to potentially steal it. The third thing we now know is, among the already known weapons such as knives, pistols, rifles, shotguns, Enzo can use explosives to kill enemies. Given that Enzo grew up as an indentured slave child working in the mines of Sicily, he most likely is experienced with dynamite and other mining explosives, which makes him a very valuable asset for Don Torrisi. It also mentions that combat will have realistic gunfire and cries of pain. Blood splatter effects occur as enemies are killed. Blood pools are depicted under bodies. The blood splatter and blood pools are already features in Mafia 3 and Mafia Definitive Edition, so this isn't anything new. The ESRB rating also mentions that players can employ stealth takedowns, for example, throat slitting or stabbing someone from behind to kill them discreetly. This means stealth combat is confirmed in the game. I wonder if we'll have the option in the settings to turn stealth combat off, like Mafia 3. The fourth thing that we now know is that some story mission cutscenes will depict intense acts of violence and/or gore, such as characters shot in the head, a man's throat slit at close range, a bound man in a chair beaten to death, and a character's fingers sliced off. All of these are memorable cutscenes the ESRB reviewer recalled after playing the game. This is all going to look so brutal and realistic on the new Unreal Engine 5. The ESRB rating also mentions the game contains some suggestive material: women escorting men inside a brothel. Well, for Mafia Game veterans, you may recall Mafia 1's mission, the Whore, in the original game, or the Saint and the Sinner in the remake. Those two missions literally have a woman escort the player inside a brothel, so this isn't anything new, but it's a welcomed return. All Mafia games so far, Mafia 1, Mafia 2, Mafia 3, Mafia Definitive Edition, have had a cat house to some extent, so this is pretty neat. It says there's a man tied to a bed by two women inside the brothel. Dialogue such as, "I found them still in the whorehouse an hour ago," and Give me more vino and all the lovely boobies. For non-Italian speakers, vino means wine. It seems there will be a mission in Mafia The Old Country where we have to go to a cat house and assassinate someone very important. I wonder if the man tied to the bed by two women is the same clown NPC from Mafia 3 and Mafia Definitive Edition. I'm definitely keeping an eye out for his return. The fifth thing we now know is that during the course of the game, player's character can consume alcohol and drive while under the influence. The fact that we can willingly consume alcohol and drive during the course of the game, like Mafia 2, is awesome. It seems the developers of Hangar 13 listen to Mafia Game fans, and this game will indeed be grounded like Mafia 1 and Mafia 2. This means the player can drink throughout the course of the game, and possibly eat foods to replenish their health, similarly to Mafia 2. And if we can drive cars while being drunk, then what's stopping gamers from riding horses drunk too? My only concern is the in-game purchases message right under the M rating. Hopefully it's not microtransactions, which is what we're all thinking, and it's just something small like vehicles or weapons. When Mafia 3 released, it had the Family Kickback Pack DLC, which contained 3 exclusive vehicles and 3 exclusive weapons. The Family Kickback Pack was originally a pre-order bonus and was released for sale on all platforms on November 22, 2016. The Family Kickback Pack is now included free of charge in Mafia 3 Definitive Edition. Hopefully the in-game purchases message refers to something like this in Mafia The Old Country. Either way, I'm very happy with all these new details of Mafia TOC. The game seems pretty based and not politically correct at all, which was a concern for a lot of gamers. This week, we'll also see gameplay footage and new material of Mafia The Old Country at PAX East, and pre-orders will go live on May 8th for PlayStation 5, Xbox Series XS, and PC via Steam. And that's the day when the cover of the game will most likely be revealed. A lot of Mafia Game fans are concerned that the game will cost $80 upon release. Xbox recently announced that all future games will be marked up to $80 a $10 increase. And a month ago, Nintendo announced the new Mario Kart game will be $80. However, because the Mafia 1 remake was $40 upon release, I think Mafia The Old Country will be $60. If you can't afford $60 right now, don't worry. Join the new Mafia Game subreddit, Mafia Game, for a chance to win Mafia The Old Country for free. I'll be hosting multiple giveaways where you could score a copy for the system of your choice. This will occur when we get closer to the release date of August 8th, which is when the game is allegedly set to release, according to the recent Steam leak. For the latest Mafia The Old Country news, updates, and content, subscribe to Mafia Game videos.